The brief was to create an atmosphere that had that holiday feel to it. When people arrived, there was a sense of occasion and almost a sort of a celebration of being on holiday. It's a site that's got incredible views across Pittwater. When you look up from the water, you read the building in silhouette against the top of the cliff, so you really get a very close relationship between the colour of the building and the sky behind it. It's a house that very much unfolds as you move through it. There's this stone escarpment that sits to the north of the house that was built in the 1940s. It's got this beautiful weathered nature that almost blends into the hill. And it's got these blinds in it that arc and curve around the headland, and some of the geometries of that original terrace then informed how we designed the geometries of the new house. They sort of carry right through the house at various different scales. There's little sort of nips and tucks all through the house that give it that very landscape-like character. And there's all these little aspects that reveal themselves more gradually. When the kids come up here, they really take to that environment. It's incredibly playful, multi-layered experience. A playful little detail that we've looked at was this almost sort of kaleidoscopic mirrored window. It looks out towards the view and you get this quite mesmerising sensation of really not knowing what you're quite looking at first. Once you do get it, you realise, there's the one view that's been amplified and duplicated many times. The quality of light here is quite remarkable. It's getting light from both directions, from the north and the south. Light sort of funneled down through these light wells. It's a beautiful feeling. It's almost like hovering on the water. This incredibly steep escarpment presented from the outset a number of challenges, particularly with the construction. And we had to really be careful about choosing the right builder, of course. And NewMark really were, I think, the right builder. It was an incredible experience, I have to say. I think that the builders did a tremendous job on such a difficult site.
It's a pretty exposed site. There's 270-degree views of the water. With that magnificent view comes the exposure to the wind and the elements. Palm Beach can be a lovely place to be when it's still and warm. It can be a terrible place to be when it's windy and cold. And then on top of that, everything had to be carried up the hill, either by a person or by a crane. But all that considered, we still managed to finish in the time frame that we set out from. I find it very efficient to have the same process run on every project. So while every project's different, they all have the same process that they go through. It's all connected together in an organised way. I find Andrew's really open to the input from the contractors and the builder, which I think allows the team to have an open dialogue around problems and solutions. Just that mutual respect helps get the best out of everybody.
This was an absolute pleasure to work on this project. I think probably the most enjoyable aspect for me was really tapping into the qualities that the family had here and developed here and plucking out the most important parts of that and reinterpreting it.
That first night when we finished and the owners were moving in, we got some fish and chips from down the road and just sitting around in the house and just looking out at the view and just thinking, mate, this is one of the most amazing pieces of land, views, houses, anywhere in Sydney, and just to be part of it is something special.
The site's really, I'd have to say, one of the most extraordinary in Sydney. An absolute pleasure and honour to work on it.